So guys, tuko tumemaliza hii conversation. Mimi na Freddy tumefikiria wisdom tumeambiana unajua by the way alafu tukaona you know what, acha tuite Bazoo, you know, our pasi. Yes. Pastor Peter atuambie perspective yake ama.
Asanteni sana.
Karibu sana.
First of all, let me have to join in because I say kuna vile mlikuwa mnatupeleka off.
Kama kawaida.
Taking us to the wrong direction.
Tuko na bado bitterness.
Wrong direction.
How are we wrong though? That's my question to you guys. What have I said that?
Okay, it's not like that you guys are wrong. First of all, the excuse Freddy was giving you about traffic. That's what the deputy, the president was telling his cabinet secretaries. They can't be coming in late for meetings because of traffic. And then this guy is following up with the same conversation, and it happened this week. So this guy, we need to check him properly.
Yeah.
You
can't be false,
and you can't be not sharing your live location.
Share live location. Niko tu hapa.
I'm sure there are a couple of us who don't know. Wait, I'm sure there are a couple of us who don't know how to share live location.
Wongo.
Give us a thumbs
but
up.
Anyway, I'm not here to expose your sins. So you guys have had a very nice conversation. I've really enjoyed it.
We're white.
But I just wanted to give a few perspectives.
You need to correct the wrong.
Correct. Okay, correct. Like tuseme tu kweli ni correct.
Ni correct, especially correct.
Okay, check
your Franca.
Okay, listen. Kuna kitu mmesema, of course, and I know you called it out, Franca, when Freddy was saying tafuta do. Then ukasema kwani utafuta pesa kwanza alafu ndio utafute God. And Freddy, of course, clarified and said my relationship is always there with God. But I know money is really important. Finances play a big part, you know, because if somebody is going to, in certain scenarios, if you're required, most scenarios, that is, if you're required to pay bride price, and also the logistics of planning the wedding, finances play a part.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll give you two experiences, two perspectives rather, that can open up people's minds in terms of how they visit this situation. One is, if you tell somebody at after do, what if wasimamito wakiwa young, they've met in campus, watu wangapi campus wako na pesa? Sio wengi. You get it. Wamemit wakiwa campus, wamemit high school, hawako na pesa. You know guys who have met high school?
After primary
they didn't have
school,
money, but they built the relationship, and over time probably they got money while they were in the relationship. All right?
That's true.
And they were able to successfully get married. So there's also that perspective. Sometimes people may meet in a season where they're not necessarily required to have all that money because they're in school. And they share the little they have, and they grow from there, and pole wanapata their money, and then they get married. Alafu pia kuna wale wenye maybe hawana pesa lakini wazazi wameagree niaje, these two people want to start life, and the little they have, they are able to take care of themselves. Sitawapatia baraka yao, we can go with them to the AG na wafanya harusi yao pale kwa AG's office, and it's actually a wedding, and they are good to go because there are guys who have done that. Now wameanza life with not much. Some of them it's a customary wedding. Now wameanza life with not so much. So those scenarios ina change your perspective, your conversation inado. Kuna wale wenye wazazi wao wako na that money, like Freddy anasema yo pake. They have it, and they're like, oh, your children are getting married. Okay, ndio hii nyumba, wanawapatia nyumba ya kuishi, wanawapatia kazi, na wanawapatia all the things they need to start living life. Kuna wasekao, so pia huwezi wambia sana watafute do because perspective ni different. So what you're basically saying is just that scenarios are different, and let us not allow the idea of money to really dictate the situation. I think even if people don't have money, they have the right to fall in love, to be honest.
I don't think so, but
they have the right to fall in love because whenever you see somebody you like, or you find yourself in a warming up to somebody, sometimes it's never really expected. There's a song that used to say, I never saw it coming, but the next thing you know, unconditional love. So they never saw it coming.
Can I ask a question? Is it okay to just chill, because you won't die, to just stay alone?
it's not okay to just chill because it's good.
Tulie tu upate hiyo
No,
pesa.
kwa wengine
And then now go.
kwa wengine iko poa, but si kwa kila mtu.
Alright, that's
That's
tricky.
tricky. Si kwa kila mtu. For example, there was a time there was a church that did a series on marriage, and they did a whole series, and it was a very trending sermon, and guys attended, and they even went further and told people, hey, kama mko hapa church na mnapendana, you guys love each other, and you want to get married, na hamna all the finances, but you have, let's say, a certain kind of threshold. Please kujeni, the church will organize for you guys a wedding, mtafanyia hapa church, the pastors will join you, and just do it simple. And some guys got married that way. Now wakaanza live, unaona. So it's not always about your pesa mingi. Yeah, it's just the scenario that you're in, and you can always get the right counsel. Mahali mko. Unaona mahali mko, mnaweza pata counsel. Alafu kitu moja watu husemanga pia kwa wanaume, sasa wanaume wakisema dowry inakuanga equalizer. Dowry inakuanga equalizer. It doesn't matter how much you have or how little you have. All that matters is, at the end of the day, you will have to negotiate for the bride. It does bring a sweat once in a while. So not everything is so much casted stone.
So can we say this then? If at all you're doing that, live within your means, because this is stressing a lot of young men.
Yes, you can
do it within your means. Don't go out of, because
out of your way, make unwise financial decisions.
Exactly.
Yes, that is totally true. And also, what do I exist in a box? See box, but like in an island, you're with people. Na mkiwa na watu, saa zingine pia the moment mmecome together inaanza ku attract favor. Sijui kama mshona kitu kaya wasino sana kama pamoja hivyo kianza kudate usana jua sana date. Mnaanza tu ku attract favor, sana nasema ni aje, nataka tu ku support.
That's true.
You know, sometimes it happening hivyo pia. Unapata like unataka ku get married.
So that's true, my experience yo happy.
No, but I've seen it.
It may happen for a lot of people. Like hata sisi in our time when we were dating with Lynette. Kumbuka nilikuwa na date Lynette, nikutana na beshte yangu fulani nikamwambia niaje. But then nimepata
super malisafi.
I don't know what you guys call it in your day, but I found a nice girl.
Painting.
I was like, oh sure, man, I'd like to meet her. Because he was an old friend. So we met with the person, and after we met with the person, we had a conversation. You know what the guy did? He said, you know what? I'm so excited for you. I'll take care of all your audiovisual for the wedding. So the guy provided all the sound, DJ lights, and the screens for the wedding free without paying a single shilling.
That's true. That's very. I'm not against that.
Scripture inasema come and buy without money. Soma Bible.
Wacha kusema hizi opinions zako.
Okay, no, this is not the case for everyone. There's some people, Christians even, non-Christians, who get married, and he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And when you look at their life, they're not living.
Your favor iko missing.
Your favor.
Because what is living, bro? What is living?
What do you mean what's living?
What is living? Because according to your standard, maybe living ni a certain kind of luxury that you can afford, but kuna watu wengine living for them is if they can get the bare minimum and they're happy.
That's true, but sometimes after your bare minimum, that's where money comes into play. You understand?
Unapata hiyo bare minimum, usemanga
ulipata rent inakuwa shida.
Lakini swali ni but kwani ni shida ya forever? Kwani si pia hiyo kama na inapita? Kuna watu wangapi unajua wenye walikuwa na do and things went south? Kuliparentika kwa shida. Because life iko custom. Wazazi wetu wacha kwambie ile time yenye tunaishi ndio tumeanza kuwa na hizi perspectives kibao. Wazazi wetu tuwauliza time yao si hawakuwa na match but wali grow pole pole.
That's true.
So life inakujanga na all those things. Yes, kuna time kuna season inaweza come, but also that's where you're tested in terms of how resilient you are.
So Mchunga, let me ask a question. Let me ask this. I've seen, like personally, I've seen people who are in the faith, all right?
Yeah.
And even those that are not in the faith, naona kakitu. Okay? I'm not saying money is everything, but unapata struggle imekuwa from when they got married to now they have kids. To watu yao wametoka. Struggle bado ni ile. Some of them are even pastors all over. Unajua. Bwana anasema. Right? Unajua. It's still so this is not the case for everyone.
You see, the struggle could be because of reasons that are beyond just love.
Yeah.
Because love brought these people together and they got married. But some of the struggles could be, it's not that there's not money, but kuna
shida management hapo,
mismanagement of money. Cheki bro,
Yeah.
kuna wase tunajua wamemari. Hata pengine unajua hizi wa story, kuna watu wamemari na msichana prefer chanda by suit ya 70k.
That's very
na watu
true.
hawana
anasema atalipa hizo school fees baadaye.
So unacheki, so until uko kwa hiyo marriage yao, usisema unajua unaona wakistruggle, una assume tu struggle yao ni because of 1 to 3.
Ingine inaweza kuwa mismanagement.
That's why hizo vitu zote. So
Very
so what
the man is lazy.
Yeah, inaweza kuwa hizo zote, but also pia wanaweza kuwa pia they are not good managers of relationships, because pia saa zingine some of the favors you experience when you're married is not as a result of relationships that you have, because you belong to a community and because you are hospitable. For example, as a household, unapata there is just favor that comes upon you because of the relationship that you have. Maybe if you're not hospitable, unakuwa isolated. Na mkiwa isolated, you don't have much help.
So I get it. So my question is, and I'm probably thinking the other people who have a similar mindset to mine. Is people guys like me, or people who have my mindset, is it wrong to think like that? Like, are you saying it's wrong to be like, let me wait and get my things together and then proceed? Are you saying that's wrong?
Because okay, to just add on to that, I feel like if you have a choice, I feel like you have a choice to actually wait and enjoy later. The lifestyle that you want with someone that you love.
It's not that I'm not saying I won't do it. No, but is it wrong to say, okay, I'm gonna wait, let me get my things together? I'm not saying you should be a millionaire. I'm just saying, let me get my things together. Let me at least have enough, all right, before I decide to now bring someone along. Because this, again, in the flesh, you understand? This is in taki ya mwili. You understand?
Cheki.
In my opinion, I think you can.
It's not wrong.
And then
it's not wrong if you say you want to take your time. It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that if you say you want to take your time.
Kwani ulikuwa na feeling kama tunakupressure? Relax bro. Ai hapana, si hata tuko rada yako please.
It's not wrong if you want to take your time, and also it is not wrong for somebody who doesn't want to take their time.
That's very true.
Akona 10 bob
perspectives,
na
because
nasema mi 10 bob tutashare na
what I'm saying is there's a lot that goes on before somebody actually gets married. Kuna parents wako involved, kuna community ko involved. Hizo maswali zote za how you're planning to take care of someone's daughter zitakuja. Na hapo ndio utajua vitu kwa ground.
Vitu kwa ground ni difference.
Mbona usweat unaweza kwa tu mahali umetulia unakula chapo ndondo yako.
Kuna
bila stress.
Kuna different scenarios imeturn out kwa hizo dowries. Negotiations and even meeting parents. Kuna different scenarios play out. Kuna sawa have to wait for years kabla married. Kuna napenda kubali, watakubali because maybe baba ndio ayuko in the country, anasema tangoja mpaka nirudi, na pia 3 years. Unajua all these things, the scripts are not the same. But we always have to apply the counsel of God in all the situations. So for example, kia wanataka kuwait, it's all good. There's nothing wrong ukitaka get married at 45 ile unasemaga. But pia kuna kitu kingine, uko na expectations zenye ulisema unataka housewife, unataka hivi na hivi na hivi. Pia unafaa kuwa flexible. By the time una meet that woman who fits that bill, that you have to be flexible also with the expectations that atakuwa nazo na wewe.
Definitely.
Lazima reach a place of consideration
like
for one another.
Like I know for sure one of the expectations, if you want a housewife, all right, it's a very offensive term nowadays. You say that in mademo wanakuangalia like, what did you just say? But I know one of the expectations of, a woman to a man is just have money. All right, like for most
all women.
Most women.
Yeah, not all.
Not all women.
Most, especially in our time.
Most women una have to quantify you.
Because let me say this. Uko ground. Data to our ground. Sina say tuko ground. On a ground,
Freddy.
Wait. Yeah. Sai, we're living in different times. We're living in times of social media, and there's a lot of pressure. Women want, a certain type of wedding. They want to wear a certain type of dress. You want to drive a certain type of car, live in a certain type of house, all right? And you're seeing your friends do it, people you're probably in school with, people you were friends with, people you grew up with, and inakupea pressure fulani. All right? So right now, There's a majority of women. Mnaweza pinga, but it's true. Majority of women right now.
Na mbona unaendea hao majority? Siuende mwenye siuende huyo mwenye atakubali maisha yako.
Ngoja nitulieni. That's why I'm saying this, because when you come with such expectation and say you want a housewife, they watakuangalia like, what? Mimi ni. But when you're providing everything, all right? Yeah? When she doesn't have to worry about rent, the roof over her head, she doesn't have to worry about food, she doesn't have to worry about clothing, all right? Then it becomes very easy for her and for you. Utapata hata when you suggest
listen,
mchungaji kidogo tu ni drive point home, all right?
It becomes very easier.
It does not. I don't mean you don't have problems. I'm not saying that. You'll face different type of problems. Okay? Itakuwa different type of problems. But vitu kama things like taking care of the kids, raising the kids, food for the man them. You understand? It's easier atubishani juu ya vitu fulani. Not to say, this is what I'm not saying this, guys, and I think this is where you guys are getting me wrong. I'm not saying money all of a sudden makes all of your problems disappear. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this, all right?
It will make you
we're
more
not talking
acceptable.
about money. We're talking about
money,
the specific arrangement which you have, which is the housewife.
The housewife arrangement, exactly. Now, in the housewife arrangement, when you have money, it makes things easier. Not to mean you won't face problems. Mtakuwa na mashida zingine, but they're not money.
Honestly,
you understand?
It's not. I wish we had data to prove that it makes things easier. Just unasema ground yako pengine tu ni ile stone unaishi.
Ground nakwambia sasa jaribu katie demo.
No, listen Freddy.
Hami hata fourth floor at least tuanze
ngoja tuongee kidogo.
Sema toke ground.
I think scenarios can be so diverse.
Yeah.
But at the bottom of it all, what matters is the person's character.
Yeah.
And I will say this, listen, because you can have a housewife and you have done all those things. But maybe the person pia kona some character issues, and the person is probably, because we have seen these things on the news where there have been philanderers. Unacheki relax tu. Kumekuwa na philanderers. Okay, is it philanderers? I can't find it. Unashtuka unafanya sasa vitu wrong. Cheki philanderers. Skiza, kumekuwa hizo cases kwa TV, unapata msichana ako job anarudi home anapata bibi yake na mwanaume mwingine.
Yeah. True. Na hiyo ni housewife.
Ni character. Skiza, kuna wale wanaweza kuwa kwa in a different kind of context.
Yeah.
And the different kind of context that they're in ni context kama for example ya mtu mwenye they are both working. Unaona, they are both working. And based on the character that they have and the values that they esteem, they are working it out very well. They are doing it very well. And I even know marriages where wife ndio anawaka peke yake, has a piggy job, and they still work out. So I can't say that we can lean towards one perspective. What we can have that works for all different setups is character, which is founded on God's word. That is what can be consistent, because the scenario you give could have loopholes, and people would pick holes in your argument and say, Freddy, what you're saying is not so true because of 1, 2, 3. But at least what we can say in all these things, there's nothing wrong with that scenario where the wife was a housewife, and there's nothing wrong with they're both working, and there's also scenarios where the woman is actually working and the days that many people have figured out how to survive.
True.
All that really matters at the end of the day is the character of both individuals. If they're yielded to the scripture, they will be able to apply the wisdom of God and the counsel of God in a way that will ensure that that particular home stands. Because these are real life situations we can speak about where those homes have stood because of character. Now, ile story mlikuwa mnaongea about story ya
Ebu ngoja. Na feel ni kama mmeingia sana kwa marriage. Wakati watu wengine tunaongea kukatiana, cause me I'm just nasikia vitu mob about just marriage, home standing, and I just had a question. Of course napenda your conversation, but pia like in when you're single and now you want to start dating, okay? So umesema of course, pesa si issue kubwa. It's about someone's character. So as a Christian, let me just say that.
Yeah.
How do you date? As in, how does dating look like? Because I would imagine you have first to like be attracted to someone, like start finding out about nini ndo mwanze kuongelea story ya marriage. I don't know. Like in this moment, we're just trying to like,
Okay, so let me put it back to you. Since you're asking how dating looks like in a Christian setting, maybe how does it look in a worldly setting?
It's the same thing.
Hey, a lot of character development.
I couldn't speak from the known to the unknown. No. So, okay, from the known, ngoja. How does it look like dating from the world setting? Or if we call it from the non-Christian, let me just put it better. From the non-Christian setting, how does it look like?
Vibes. Na feel ni kama hii swali ni ngumu sana, nitakuwa nimejieka kwa mashi, ni ngumu sana. I mean, there are things that you would do while dating zenye maybe they're not acceptable. In like a godly setting, I would imagine. I would imagine, like, sometimes like when you're dating someone, you guys might decide, let's move in together, ndo to test tuone kama uko mbele kutakuaje. See, and to be honest, things like that can put you in a very weird situation. Unaweza jipata haya kumbe ulioleka bila kuoleka, things like those. Giving yourself fully to a person who's not yet a husband, but you're playing a role of a wife or a husband.
Napiga simu mazi. Sorry guys.
Freddy.
Na sijamarika, imagine.
Icon.
Jaribu kuwhisper na kwa mic.
Oh, icon.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Nakuanga na shida ya kuwhisper, sijuangi kuwhisper.
Oh my goodness.
Hata kama hii mic ingekuwa hapa.
So again, you see, the things that you have said from a worldly perspective, dating, you're speaking about moving in. The moment you think about moving in, you're already crossing the boundaries of dating. So you're still, when people have moved in and they're living together, hapo hakuna dating. They're cohabiting.
Cohabit.
You understand? Watu wana cohabit hapo. You get the point?
Yeah,
so
I do.
You have already moved from dating. So again, when you go back to the dating scene, the only difference in the dating scene between the worldly setting and the Christian setting is just defined by the values that you have. The values will dictate where you go. The values will dictate also the boundaries to what you can do. That's what the values will dictate. So if people are dating in a worldly setting, they might decide, you know what, let's go and party, party. But if you're born again, you'll be like, okay, no, probably we might not go and party, but we can go for a movie. We can go to a different kind of location. It will set certain kind of boundaries. It will set the boundaries in terms of even the physical interaction that you have with each other. There's kind of places that you choose to meet. It will set those boundaries. It doesn't mean that people will follow them to the letter. But even if they break those boundaries, they will still be very conscious about it because they would know this is right or this is wrong. You get it?
Yeah.
So you get to know each other. Hizo vibes pia ziko in Christian dating. Who said they're not there? Hizo vibes ziko because you share memories, you share stories, you share humor. You share all those different kinds of moments. So they're there.
So you said it's different. You said it's different, or you said it's similar. With regard to the question asked was,
she was asking what's different and what does it look like.
Yeah,
so I was telling her,
like how,
like you probably go out for dates, you dine together, you'll dine, you'll go out for, you can also go out for trips, you can go out for a movie, you can do cookouts and all those things. I mean, the only difference is just the values that will set the boundaries.
All I know, all I can give in that. Let me also chip in a bit of my wisdom.
Yes. And I hope it's legit wisdom.
Yeah, because hizi vitu zako na ma proverbs.
My take on it on Christian, it don't take too long. All right, don't take too long. Like people waste a lot of time.
Mr. 45, look who's talking.
No,
I'm surprised.
I don't mean it in that way. I mean when you finally decide you're dating, don't take long. All right. Now, if you want to wait like I'm waiting, you know, Paul as a mama used to better.
Remain single.
It is better. Bible. This is
By the
scripture.
way, Paul talks about
it and he's like,
relationships
it's better
and
not
being
to
single.
it's better not to marry.
Yeah, and you have to understand
because
also
of
the
everyday troubles.
Context.
Comes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the context of what he was talking about.
Calm down, people. All right. I understand the context, all right? But it's there, is it not?
It's
And
there.
if you're burning, kama inakuchoma sana. Yeah?
Marry. It is not a
Kama
sin.
unasikia you're on fire, you can marry. But it's okay to also just chill, all right? Now, when you decide to get married, all right, don't take too long as well. Because hapo ndio vitu zingine zinaingianga, watu wanaanza kucohabit, watu wakamwiste, unajua, watu wanaanza doing that thing that people are not supposed to be doing. You know what that is? Yeah.
That's applicable.
Yeah, so
That's a conversation for another day.
yes,
But it's applicable,
advice,
and that's why you see
Yeah.
when even if you were to apply that wisdom which you're giving and you're saying don't take too long.
when you
If
finally decide,
when you finally decide you want to get married, don't take
Yes.
too long. What could be the things that are making people take too long?
money
Again, you see, back to it. So
Standards.
listen, standards. So if you've decided, okay, fine.
Unrealistic
So,
standards.
If you were to apply your wisdom, then it would mean that we would have to make certain compromises. It means if you've decided you want to get married and you're born again and you don't want to take long, according to Freddy's advice, it means then you can decide, you know what, we don't need a very posh wedding, a very glamorous wedding. We can compromise a bit because the goal here is to get married and not take too long. So would you be willing to make those compromises? Mr. Money.
Wait, would I be willing to make what
Would
kind
you
of
be willing
compromise
to make those compromises?
What do you mean? What kind
Yeah,
of
because
compromise?
some people might take long because they're trying to save as much as possible to have that dream wedding.
Yeah,
I
that
personally
grand
would not
wedding.
do a wedding. Like I just do
Yeah, you wouldn't,
with
but
with a pastor and then
Yeah,
do,
listen.
After hiyo
tukue
pesa
na lunch
yote
on-
yenye umekusanya.
No, tunafanya tena wedding yani na tuko na pesa. So we just go to
okay,
a nice.
wait, listen.
What was
You
your question? I
said-
digress. Sorry.
You said
Yes.
that if people are born again and they've decided to get married, don't take too long.
Yes.
I asked you,
Yeah.
what are some of the factors that would make them take too long? As much as they've decided they want
One
to
of
get
them.
married, you said it's money.
One of them. There are many.
Yeah, you said it's money. One of them is money. And
One
I
of them is
said,
money. Yes.
so I said,
Yes.
in order to follow your advice,
Yeah.
that they should be willing to make compromises on the money issue.
Yes, definitely. Now,
Yeah, absolutely.
According to your
And part of the compromises would be
Yeah.
if they're waiting for a certain sum of money to have a dream wedding, they can lower the expectation and have a beautiful wedding. It doesn't have to be a dream wedding. But the goal here is not to take too long.
Yeah, the money is not for the wedding.
They can postpone honeymoon, as some have done.
The money I'm talking about is for life after the wedding. The wedding is just a day.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
again, some people might be taking too long because they're trying to save 5 million.
Yeah,
wanna
because I've had
priorities.
this dream
No,
since
wait.
I was a little
Now, those
girl.
are people with misplaced priorities. That's different.
No, according to
Okay.
you, but for
According
them,
to you.
Yes,
It's not.
According to me, definitely.
yeah. So that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
if they're going to cut time, if they're going to save time and not take too long,
Yeah.
then they can say, "Oh, let's have a 2.5 million or let's have a 1 million wedding." Is that okay?
Or let's do AG.
Okay, good. So we are together. So we are just again cementing the fact that money conversation
Now,
is
let me
has a broader perspective and it doesn't change kwa ground.
100% true.
Okay,
All I'm
good.
saying is this. I think you got me wrong here, Mchungaji. What I'm saying is this: that when you decide to get married, and you don't have, if you decide to take that route,
Yeah.
all right, live within your means. Okay, if you decide to take that route, if you're going that direction, you decided not to wait, like Freddy. Live within your means. Do what you can. You understand? Like, don't go out of your way to try and. All right.
Okay.
Now, if you decide to not, then just wait.
All right.
Yeah, wait and
Okay.
get the money and do that. But
Makes
if I told
sense.
you go in that direction,
Can I
just
ask
don't
a question?
struggle to.
Yes, you can ask a question, Frank.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
now?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Umetetea hiyo nini yako.
Reality go ground, man.
Mi bado niko kwa living as a single lady, okay?
Tell us.
So while you're single, I know that people sometimes say that, women, they set too higher standards, unajua, like hizo standards ziko juu sana, like utapata mwanamume mgani mwenye ako evil,
That's true.
Is it bad to have like standards, like, and be really strict on them, then this is what I want. Because I feel like people say like God answers, the desires of our hearts. And when you talked about compromising, it felt like, okay, now I'll have to maybe give up a part that I've really wanted for so long, just because I've met this person, I love them, and now some of the things cannot be met because of the financial status. But I feel like when you have standards, it sort of guides you to like achieve the kind of life that you want to live. So what really is unrealistic standards?
Unrealistic standards would
dating?
Be if you're hell-bent on having a garden wedding and the season that you have set the date is raining. And they decide, you know what, we need to do an indoor wedding because this is the time we're supposed to get married. And you're like, you know what, it's not going to happen. And maybe the rainy season goes for a month or two. So you decide, you know what, it has to be a garden wedding. And maybe you had already made plans and parents were coming. And you say, you know what, I'm not going to change. Sometimes that can be impractical. You understand? Or another thing would be if you're determined to have a wedding worth 10 million, which you've set in your mind, and what you guys can afford is 6 million, and you decide you're not going to get married because of that. I think that is unrealistic, and that's not practical, because a wedding is a day. You have a whole lifetime ahead of you. Your fairy tale can happen the way you want it to happen, but sometimes circumstances can change, and you need to have a bit of flexibility for that. I think it's all based on wisdom and maturity in somebody.
Okay, and now I'm speaking about in terms of like choosing a partner.
Compared to realistic standard.
I feel sijajibiwa
Okay.
vizuri.
In terms
of choosing a partner.
All right.
Maybe this is the kind of partner I want, like maybe who makes certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay, who looks like this, their appearance is like this. And then of course sometimes before upate huyo msee, it might take a while, and people start saying, unazeeka please. Unazeeka, chukua to the next best thing comes. Is it bad to like set these standards for yourself as a single? Because like I've been preparing myself for this kind of man. So is it unrealistic for me to set those standards while I'm single?
Okay, can I answer?
Kuna zingine zenye sio realistic, but Freddy.
So I wanted to say this. There's certain standards are good and bad. Bad if they're unrealistic, good if you know what you want and you won't settle for less, all right? So what's realistic? What's realistic or what's unrealistic? What's unrealistic is wanting a tall, dark, handsome, rich, young
but wako
plumber, doctor, electrician in one. You can't have.
But tall, dark, handsome, rich. Wako.
Okay.
Electrician.
Listen.
That's what?
I believe that even as you're choosing a spouse, especially for us who are in the kingdom of God, we're also spirit-led in the sense that there's also the conviction that you get in your heart. And it's usually drawn from also a person's character. Because tall, dark, and handsome, you will get rich and everything. But there are other pieces that have to come into it, which is also the character. How if they esteem the Lord, if they have reverence for God and all those things, they play a very big part in your selection. The thing is this, sometimes you can be so fixated, but there is not one particular person on this earth I can say God crafted them specifically for you. That kazi yake tu maisha yake ni kutembea kikungojea mkuja mkutane. There's no such thing.
Exactly.
You marry most of the time, and I usually tell people this, you marry based on either the environment that you're in. So where do you spend most of the time? Actually, there's a lady who asked me this question. She asked me, Peter, give me a rundown of your day. Or of your week. So you come to work, yes. From work, where do you go? You go back home? Do you go to the gym? Yes. Or you go to church? She told me there's a high probability that your wife is going to come out of these particular hot spots that you frequent most of the time. Per chance, She might come from, you might meet her on the road or in a flight or online. But there's a high probability that the person you're going to marry is going to come from this particular setting. And the truth is, my wife came from church setting. You get it? You get it?
So what you want
Wakiinua
out
baba
kabisa
yao.
mtura.
Check it. So,
Wacha kuanga out kwa place mtura.
Wewe uache
so kama unakobeza mtura, pia kuna probability
Jamaa
utampata
fulani.
hapo.
utampata tobo pia akisema ongeza ingine ya 20.
Exactly.
Kata ingine kata.
Exactly. So unacheki. So that was really practical.
Yeah.
It was really practical, and there are of course unique case scenarios and everything, but the reality is the dream person is never usually, we'll just find a few people who will say they will craft it in a particular way and everything. It doesn't come that way, at least from experience. I know there's a certain liking that somebody might have. Unajua kuna ndugu yetu mmoja
type.
alikuwa, kuna ndugu yetu mmoja alikuwa anabadilisha madem mpaka ikabidi tumwambie bro, unafaa kuwa consistent because mara ni mnono, ni mslim.
Yeah, hana
And,
type.
okay, let me not
Yeah.
let me be more sensitive. One moment you're with a thick lady, the other one is a very slender lady.
Yeah.
Mwingine ako na nywele refu, mwingine fupi. Yani one time umeenda dark,
Ye bora
saa
msichana.
ingine amena rangi ya thao. So we were like,
Bora female gender.
we just need to be consistent. But you can always tell about people's liking. You can always tell it in the kind of people sometimes they have dated or the kind of people that they're more attracted to.
Yeah.
So they will end up sometimes marrying somebody who has those particular features. But you can never say that he has met everything, 100% of everything I want. Sometimes I see guys saying those things with extremities. But they sort of like go on a hyperbole, or they exaggerate the whole thing. You know, he's crafted the way I intended him to be. If he's crafted the way you intended him to be, then you don't have to work on anything in your marriage. But you have to work in marriage, right? There's a lot of things that you have to work on. So it's not, there's this idea that he's perfect the way. No. You have to work, because marriage is a great discipleship tool. You have to learn one another. You have to,
Relationships.
yeah, you have to have friction and all these things as you're
Jina
being,
marriage na kutrigger.
hata kwa relationship, as you're becoming more in sync, hata kwa relationship, somebody is just perfect the way alikuwa nimeota kila kitu perfect, then you don't have to work on anything in that relationship. It's like ukisneeze unajua tu what you're supposed to do. No. I mean, there's a lot that you need to work on. So there are those particular qualities that you might still find in the person that you are liking, but there's still work that has to be done on many other things for you guys to become more and more in sync with each other.
So we've said.
Does that answer you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
We've said there's no unrealistic. It's good. Is it good or bad? That's the question. Is it good to have or bad to have standards?
I think it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but also those standards have to also sometimes be mirrored on this on the spirit of the scripture, and see if it really makes sense. And then also with the same standards that you have, don't complain if also the person comes with standards for you. Because with the same measure that you will want standards, somebody might also come with certain standards.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to give each other some elbow room and be accommodative to one another. And as you slowly learn one another, grow. One thing I usually say about relationships is, and these are relationships that are led by the Spirit, that actually the Lord also uses both of you to minister to one another and grow one another. You have a ministry to the person that you're going to get involved with, and the person also has a ministry toward you. So there are things that they will share with you that will help you grow, overcome certain things that you've never been able to overcome in your life, because they see into you and they see the deep-seated fears or insecurities that you may have, and they're covering you, and you're also seeing the same in them and you're covering them. And that's a beautiful relationship, because now God uses both of you as instruments to build each other and to heal each other and to help each other become better and better.
Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, very deep.
You have to make your father pull.
Well, niko hapa tu, I'm taking notes.
Pull it deep end.
I am nifike kwa nyumba.
Yeah, lakini cha muhimu ni bezi ya
Before
mutura.
nisahau.
Bezi ya
Bezi ya
mutura. Lakini kuna kitu
pale.
kingine pia.
Nasema kipasua.
I like what you guys were sharing also about the agape love, which is basically the God's love, God kind of love, or God's love for us. And the reality is there's romantic love, which is eros, erotic love. Then there's also the phileo love, which is brotherly or friendship
My
love. And
brother,
then,
tell you, Leo.
then there's also storge.
We're being
which is-
schooled.
It's deep.
Yeah, then I think there's also the one called storge. And all this different
Okay.
storge is like sibling love, I think, or
It's
yeah.
family
Then
love.
there's phileo, which is now friendship.
It's
love.
powerful.
And all this I used to describe love in those
Types of
different
love.
contexts, but I believe that all those three different kinds of expressions of love, where we express love to siblings or family members, we express love to a partner whom we love, or we express love to friends, they're all held together by agape,
the godly love.
the godly love. I think that's the greatest inspiration for all this love, these different ways of expressing love to function as they should. So when agape is out, even eros, the romantic love that you have between a man and a woman, can really suffer and struggle, because sometimes you might feel drained and empty, but it's the supply of God's love that fills your heart, that causes you to constantly love your partner, even when you don't feel like it, or even when they have offended you. So the love of God is so critical, and the expression that you desire that, is really good. I think it's a noble thing, because if you find a man who has experienced God's love, it has transformed his heart. It has made him understand that the much he has received is not because he qualified for it, but it's because of God's grace and mercy. And he's able to extend the same to the person that they love. So it's a beautiful thing.
Si Franca kama umeshika, sijui kama umeshika
Nimeshika.
Kwa mali umeingia
Hey, nakwambia kwanza hapo pa mwisho vile tu amesema, please kama ni wewe tuma CV because yeah.
I hope you know. Do you have any more questions?
Hii maswali hata imekuwa nika episode ingine mzima.
Nimeshafunzwa kunyamaza. Yeah. Hey, but yeah, you've really answered. Yeah.
Ni muhimu
Thank
kusoma
you.
Biblia.
Ni muhimu kusoma Biblia. Yeah. Ni muhimu.
Freddy, kwanza
Wewe kwanza ndo unafaa kusoma sana.
Examine.
Looks can be
Freddy, we're supposed to examine you.
Sasa hivi ndio najua mimi nakaa kama mimi ndio somangi, but usishtuke ukipata ni huyu dada. Ndio.
Kwani ni competition, mimi hata by this kwa compare na wewe.
Hizi domestics zenu msiniweke hapo hivyo.
Hapo kwa
utaki tusinvolve pasi kwa our domains.
Tukue samoni ya kesho.
Hizi domains zetu, we'll do our domains later. But we've learned a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for coming through. I'm sure kila mtu mwenye amesikiza hapa, they've learned something. This was very informative. Not only in just advising on our posture as single people, but you've given us so much hope in what we can look forward to, like while dating and tukifikiria mambo ya ndoa. Lord help us. But yeah, this has been really
awesome.
Good.
Thank you for coming through.
Oh, hi Lynette. Bwana wako amekuja hapa kutu school. And yeah, next time ni wewe unaketi kwa hii kiti.
Love you, babe.
From now on tutakuwa tunaweka hii kiti hapa for a surprise guest. Wakukuja kushukisha Freddy kidogo, kumpatia watu na kuniinua kidogo. So yeah, but thank you so much for coming through. Tutakuona tena hapa.
Hopefully.
We're going to have, you know what we'll do? We'll just have another segment where, you know, we're asking questions.
Yeah. I
know you have a lot of questions.
Niko na maswali. Niko na maswali sana. But that is enough for today. I have a lot to ponder on. That one has been good. Yeah, so I hope you guys at home have really enjoyed this segment. Na feel ni kama kila time kwa podcast we give you something new, something fresh. You know, like this one also was very spontaneous. We didn't think about this, but you know, as the conversation kept flowing, we felt like this brilliant man of God had things to tell us, and hey man, the Spirit has done it again. So yeah, thank you so much. You can drop your comments, your questions hapo chini. In fact, saying the best time za kuuliza questions so that we can have this surprise guest. Wajibu na you subscribe and like and share this content with your friends, with anyone who you think would like this kind of content. Yeah, and tuseme kwaheri.
Tuseme au revoir. Tuseme tuonane. Rochelle. See you next time.
Peace, guys. Life on Flick.
Peace.